W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT, but for the purposes of this transmission, I'll be using the club's call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
The FCC takes a fresh look at wireless emergency alerts. Russian amateurs make contacts on the 6-meter band, and a radio signal arrives after 8 billion years. All this and more is Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2400 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
We begin this week's newscast with a look at the life-saving communication known as the Wireless Emergency Alert System. Here in the U.S., the FCC has begun rethinking exactly how these alerts should be transmitted. We have those details from CellMB, KB3TZD.
The FCC is looking for alternative ways for delivery of wireless emergency alerts that do not rely on functioning cell towers. Calling cell networks unreliable, the Commission's Public Safety and Homeland Security Bureau is seeking ways to get messages to the public that do not run the risk of cell towers being knocked out of service or having coverage dead zones. In a public notice released October 19th, the FCC said it was looking for partners to test alternative technologies for emergency alert use. According to a report in Radio World, the FCC is willing to consider satellites, high-altitude balloons, drones, or similar technology to make up for gaps in wireless coverage. The FCC recalled one of the most recent incidents of cell coverage failing when in August, 21 cell sites failed to function in Hawaii during the deadly wildfires in that state. The Commission is asking interested parties to use the electronic comment filing system to contact the FCC within 60 days of the notice's publication. This is CellMB, KB3TZD.
The FCC has also announced that the agenda for its next open meeting on November 15th will include a vote that will modernize and bring more flexibility for amateur radio operators who use the digital modes. The FCC website says the commissioners plan to remove, quote, outdated restrictions, end quote, and allow for more innovation. Residents in southwestern Missouri are about to benefit from an amateur radio repeater system upgrade that will assist in times of bad weather and in other instances. We hear about all of those changes from Randy Sly, W4XJ.
A crucial weather emergency communications system in southwest Missouri will receive an upgrade to expand its reach as a result of a grant of nearly $70,000. The Southwest Missouri Regional Skywarn ham radio repeater system allows storm spotters to reach the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Springfield, Missouri, providing up-to-date eyewitness accounts. Funding for the improvements will come from Amateur Radio Digital Communications, which will channel the grant through the Southern Missouri Emergency Communications Fund. The 10-month-long overhaul of the linked repeater system, known as the 49 Repeater Group, will add new repeaters and replace aging equipment. In the meantime, local amateur radio clubs will be learning more from the group's Michael Blake, N0NWS, who will encourage radio operators to become active in the project as well. This is Randy Sly, W4XJ.
A repeater system elsewhere is trying to recover. Although wildfires near Chattanooga, Tennessee have been brought under control, the region's High Point repeater site has been left disabled by cable damage left behind by the blaze. The 220 megahertz repeater, the Wires X repeater, and the APRS digipeater and iGate system of the Lookout Mountain Amateur Radio Community, N4LMC, will not return to use until further notice, according to the club's website. The damage also temporarily knocked a broadcast FM station off the air. The Lookout Mountain Amateurs website said that the group will need to replace all of the cables at the site. They are also awaiting word from the tower owners about possible damage to the tower, guy wires, and anchor points. If you happen to hear an amateur with a Russian call sign while you're listening on the band between 50 and 52 megahertz, you're not imagining things. And no, that ham is not violating any regulations. Ed Durant, DD5LP, tells us what's happening.
Russian amateurs holding that country's highest class radio license are now being permitted to use the 6-meter band, with up to as much as 1 kilowatt under a verbal agreement with the Russian regulator. According to a report in the November 2023 issue of Funk Telegram, hams are working to secure written permission for 6 meters, which is not officially defined as an amateur band in Russia. Hams with Russian call signs have been using the band since 2014 from Crimea, when that territory was annexed. This was a privilege carried over from the time when the 6-meter operation was permitted in Crimea, when it was part of Ukraine. Funk Telegram quotes Alexander Kozlov, RW5C, an active amateur who is on the air from Moscow, as confirming to the magazine that a number of amateurs like him are now being heard regularly on the band and are making contacts. Russian amateurs have long contended that if authorities recognize 6-meter operation from Crimea, the privilege should be extended to all Russian hams. This is Ed Durant, DD5LP.
Radio enthusiasts in the UK turned on their shortwave sets for an on-air celebration. And Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us about it.
100 people turned out on Tuesday the 17th of October for an 80th anniversary celebration at the UK's last remaining shortwave radio transmitting site. Countless others attended the party from a distance, as shortwave listeners who later sent in reception reports. The Wooferton transmitting station, which was built by the BBC during the Second World War, is owned by Encompass Digital Media. Its celebration broadcast was transmitted to listeners in Europe as an analog broadcast on 17.785 MHz and as a DRM broadcast on 11.725 MHz. In a rare change of programming schedule, the station also used its oldest transmitter, a Marconi BD272, built in Britain in 1963, to send programming to North America on 15.245 MHz. To hear the anniversary broadcast, click on the link that you can find in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
YLs throughout Australia and beyond are getting ready for a few days of socializing and talking about one of their favorite topics, amateur radio. Graham Kent, VK4BB, tells us what's on the agenda.
It's been a tradition every few years since 1984, a national get-together of the members of LARA, the Australian Ladies Amateur Radio Association. Next month, the in-person contacts will be made in Hobart, where YLs from the organisation will meet up, some for the first time, without having to call CQ. Alara Meet, as it is known, is now held every 3 years. It features a busy agenda on the 4th and 5th of November, a mix of amateur radio activities and social outings, including a tour of historic sites and an optional cruise. It's not unexpected to have an international attendance. Many of the 200 or so Alara members live overseas and have their membership sponsored by YLs living down under. Created in 1975, Alara works to nurture women's participation and enthusiasm for all things amateur radio. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Once again, Newsline is preparing to select the recipient for its International Newsmaker of the Year award. We launched the award in 2019 with our editorial staff recognizing the individuals, groups, or formal clubs who have spent the previous year bringing amateur radio into the spotlight, showing its positive values and contributions to the community. We are broadening the award's scope this year by acknowledging that the dissemination of information to the public about amateur radio's positive influence no longer relies solely on mainstream media. This year, and going forward, the award will be presented to a recipient who has illuminated amateur radio's role in mainstream media or via internet channels. Stay tuned in the weeks ahead. We will select a winner to be announced in early December. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the Utah Amateur Radio Club's W7SP repeater, Sundays as part of the club's 9 p.m. net. The Scouting Organization recognizes Jamboree on the Air as the largest scouting event in the world. But for one group participating in Wisconsin, the global amateur radio activity created some personal and very local triumphs. Patrick Clark, K8TAC, gives us those details.
In a small village just east of Wausau, Wisconsin, scouts were making QSOs as part of the Jamboree on the Air weekend on Saturday, October 21st. They were using the call sign of the Wisconsin Valley Radio Association, W9SM. 8 volunteer operators from the club helped the scouts get radio contacts weren't about the pursuit of QSO cards, but the chase for one of 3 merit badges: the radio merit badge, the signs, signals, and codes merit badge, and the communications merit badge. The activity attracted scouts from other parts of Wisconsin and some as far away as Minneapolis, Minnesota. According to Nicholas Schilling, KC9FEM, all 22 scouts who had enrolled to get the radio merit badge succeeded in that effort, and many of the others completed part of the requirement toward the other 2 badges. Perhaps the biggest challenge of the day was faced by Gary Harrison, W9CPY, an Eagle Scout who is also president of the Wisconsin Valley Club. Gary said that one scout who lives on a farm locally made a radio contact with a scout in Canada who also happens to live on a farm. The 2 got on quite well, almost to the point of an extended rag chew. Gary later told Newsline, quote, "I couldn't get the microphone back," end quote. This is Patrick Clark, K8TAC.
On Tuesday, October 24th, the 100-year-old Grimeton radio station transmitted a message of peace to the world from Sweden in a celebration that was also live-streamed on YouTube and accompanied by a ham radio activation. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, has that story.
The broadcast hosted by the Alexander Grimeton Friendship Association in Sweden marked UN Day by sending its station's call sign SAQ, followed by a message of peace in CW. The 200-kilowatt Alexanderson alternator began its transmission at 1500 UTC on 17.2 kilohertz. Those who could not be present at the World Heritage Site were able to watch it live on the YouTube channel of the Friendship Association. Amateur radio operators also participated using the call sign SK6SAQ for contacts using an SSB on 80, 40 and 20 meters. It's all over now bar the waiting. The operators of the historic transmitter are expecting QSL reports from listeners who received the long-wave transmission. The Grimeton amateurs are also waiting too for those who made their contacts on HF. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Hams and shortwave listeners alike are invited to participate in a radio event that celebrates the reach of shortwave and its powers to send music and other programming around the world. Here's Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF, with the details.
If you thought the days of shortwave broadcast listening were gone, you may be wrong, as a broadcast station in Taiwan is reaching out to the global amateur radio community for assistance with its international shortwave event that continues until 14th of November. The Fushin Broadcasting Station is asking listeners to send reception reports that include such details as favorite music being heard or favorite program. The listening frequency is 9.1 MHz, 9.774 MHz, and 15.375 MHz. Listeners who provide reception details will be sent a QSL card. The station also broadcasts locally on AM and FM, but that programming is not involved in this activity. Reception report forms can be downloaded from the station's website, which appears in the text version of this week's newscast. If you have questions about the shortwave event, send an email to fhbstp@fhbs.com.tw. This is Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF.
If you were in the log for a successful contact with the Swains Island W8SD expedition, you're in plenty of good company. The team reports that they made 89,530 QSOs with 21,471 unique call signs. Contacts were evenly distributed across three largest global regions. Europe accounted for 35.1%, North America for 30.8%, and Asia for 29%. More details and other statistics can be found on ClubLog using the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. In the world of DX, be listening for June, OE1JUN/JH4RHF, operating as H44RH from Honiara in the Solomon Islands, IOTA number OC-047. He is on the air until the 31st of October. After that, he has tentative plans to operate as H40RH from Pigeon Island, IOTA number OC-065 in Temutu Province, between the 1st and 9th of November. Check QRZ.com for updates. QSL to OE1JUN. Ed N2HX is active as V4/N2HX from St. Kitts, IOTA number NA104, until the 18th of November. Listen for him in the CQ Worldwide DX Single Sideband Contest using the call sign V49R. QSL via home call, direct, or bureau. Listen for Pierre, VE3KTB, and Alexei, VE1RUS, operating as VY0ERC from the Eureka Amateur Radio Club station in Ellesmere Island, IOTA number NA008, through the 22nd of November. See QRZ.com for details. Tom, BK2WN/SP7WT, is on the air until the 30th of November as AX37EUDXF to celebrate the 37th anniversary of the European DX Foundation. See QRZ.com for details. If you've ever waited for what seems like forever for a DXpedition's QSL card to arrive, now imagine waiting a really long time. We mean a really long time for the signal itself. Ken Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us about one radio signal that has finally arrived after 8 billion years.
You might call it long path taken to the extreme. A fast radio burst from a galaxy far, far away that has only arrived on Earth now, after 8 billion years. The signal apparently is none the worse for the effort. Scientists say this mystery blast of waves is likely the most energetic they've ever seen, releasing the same amount of energetic emissions as the sun is capable of doing over a 30-year period. It's the latest example of what astronomers call FRB, which stands for Fast Radio Burst. The radio signals last barely a millisecond. Scientists have been receiving and watching them since 2007. This latest reception of the universe's remarkable operating mode even inspired a name, FRB 202200610A. Astronomers wrote about it in the journal Science, which published it on Thursday, October 19th. The team of researchers believe this latest burst may be the result of a small cluster of galaxies attempting to merge, which results in explosions that create new stars. One theory suggests that FRBs are a means of gauging the amount of matter between galaxies. While all this rapid, fancy flashing seems remarkable, scientists assure us that FRBs are quite commonplace. Radio telescopes are being built in Australia and South Africa with the goal of detecting more of them from even more distant places in the cosmos. In this case, the sky is not the limit anymore. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. Now, we're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or Field Day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. Use the entry form on our website, and please follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku, and be sure to check out our previous winners. With thanks to Alara, Amateur Radio Daily, the BBC, CQ Magazine, CNN, David Behar, K7DB, Encompass Digital Media, the FCC, 425DX News, Funk Telegram, Nicholas Schilling, KC9FEM, KRMS Radio, Radio World, shortwaveradio.de, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023. All rights reserved.
This has been the transmission of this has been W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, with this evening's transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Stay tuned. Our Monday evening VHF UHF net starts here in about 10 minutes.
Lose them. Tonight and tomorrow it's going down into the low 30s, maybe even the high 20s. The hard freeze predicted for tonight. I get all my stuff in.
You can shut it off in the menu pretty easily, and it actually
I did get a ton of the Egyptian walking on you. Now I got to figure out how to save them. So yeah, I said the growing season was over. The first frost, we had a real hard frost the other day. What was that? I don't know. I can't remember what day it was, but it was a hard frost.
Okay, Aaron. Well, thank you for that. Turning off the receive.
But anyway, I picked the last two
seems to solve the problem on the Elenco.
There could be.
Jerry, I don't know if you heard that or not.
Everything else
it might be worth giving it a try. Kilo Echo 8, Juliet, November.
Okay. This is the end of the net, unless we have any other check-ins. Any other last check-ins, please call W8VM.
K8AGW, Dan, checking in.
Yeah, okay, Dan, K8AGW. Take a turn. We only have 3 participations. You make 4. Go ahead and take a turn, W8VM.
Here's K8AGW. Yeah, sitting here listening to all of that and all the comments and everything. And You know, I lost interest. Well, I'm in my 80s anyhow, but in football and baseball, all the poor sportsmanship. And you can remember Bill and other fellows there, you know, through the years we were growing up and following, you know, Major League Baseball and football and everything. The real sportsmanship among the players. And when they started beating up on each other in the field and fighting with each other and with the referees and everything, that turned me off. So the only thing I like to watch is the Little League World Series. And those little guys and girls that play that Little League, they, you know, they show real sportsmanship and real interest, and we like that. So, unless it's my old age of being cantankerous or what, but I think that's the way it is now. Poor sportsmen. And then when these players are off the field, they get you know, unruly, you know, out there among partying and everything, getting in trouble and all that stuff. So that don't show good sportsmanship to the young people, you know. So I'm up on my soapbox a little bit there. But anyhow, I'll drop it before it drops me, and I'll be right back. The repeater sounds pretty good tonight, so I was listening along, and even in spite of the moisture and everything, seems to be doing the job the way it should be, so it's pretty good. Some nights it isn't, so I can't get over. I don't know if you heard Scott out there in Vermilion the other morning says he would look across the lake there, and he could imagine you could see it was so clear, and that he could see the tomato pickers over in Canada with all the lights and everything, and it was a good clear night and everything. So yeah, I went out. I hate to do it, but I don't pick up my leaves and all that stuff. I run my mower over, mulch them up and everything. But I got next door neighbor guy. He waits till all the tree comes down, but anyhow, his leaves in my yard, and I'm afraid it's going to smother my grass out, so I run my mower over it while it's wet, but it mulches them up good, so I want to get my grass to get the, you know, the nourishment from the ground up leaves and water that it's supposed to get to the roots instead of being smothered out from my neighbor's leaves. You know, you always have neighbors like that, you know. But anyhow, it's kind of interesting how 10 meters is going to be tomorrow night with temperature change and, you know, conditions and that. Last week, 10 meter net for Norris was pretty good. We had about 8 check-ins, and there was a couple of people that could have checked in, that could have more than 10, but they didn't. But I thought I'd give you the number, and I heard you on there as net control, Bill, so I thought that'd be one number anyhow. So 73, everybody. Have a good night, good rest of the week, and stay warm. So we'll try to catch you in the morning, Bill. KAGW, wait a minute. Before I pass it back to you, Bill, how's W8WLI? And I haven't heard from PZD checking in these nets lately, so I don't know if you heard anything. KAGW back to net control. 73, everybody.
KAGW, W8VM. Regarding Clark, no, I haven't heard anything, and I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't talked to his brother lately either. His brother hasn't checked in to the net. So, and Tom, I talked to Tom on the phone yesterday. he's doing a whole lot better. He's got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so something might be going on tomorrow. But yeah, he said he's feeling a whole lot better. He did check into the woodchuck net for one round anyhow. But he said he's not quite ready to come back on the nets yet, but he's probably out there listening. So yeah, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and I'm sure everything will turn out all right. You got to think positive. And okay on the sporting situation. Well, I never was a big football fan. I used to like to watch the college football, and I always wanted the Browns to win, maybe go to the Super Bowl, but not in my lifetime. yeah, that's a perfect example of ego trips for too many players. So yeah, I'm sorry they lost to the Falcons. I thought maybe they were going to pull that one out. I didn't watch it. I just turned it on when I seen there was a football game on. I checked to see who was playing, and it was the Browns and the Falcons. And the Browns.
Good evening, calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is John and my call is WO3X. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We will start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that is complete, I'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, and confirming each call. Then I'll correspond with those 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until we're done. If you are a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been worked, I will repeat the announcements, and then I'll give one last call for check-ins. We also operate a band exploration net at 9:30 p.m. after this net. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. The approximate frequency will be 18.127 megahertz upper sideband. Here are the announcements. Okay, we have a meeting coming up on November 8th. And there may be a program along with that meeting, and that program is to be announced. then on November 22nd, we will have a meeting, and there'll be another program during that. At least that's what the calendar says. So that's the day before Thanksgiving. On Monday, November 13th, there'll be a volunteer exam session. The testing starts at 6:30 p.m. It is at the Cuyahoga Falls Library on 2nd Street or 3rd Street. You can get to the parking lot from either street. And it is a law exam, so there's no fee. Make sure that you have your FRN and pre-register for that. You can see where to register by going to www.cfarc.org. That's our website. Click on Education, and then there's a button in the middle of the page that says Register for a License Exam. On Thanksgiving Day, there is the Geneseret Home Run for the Homeless, and you may be contacted by Artie, N8RKA, to operate our radios during that event. I think that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So, are there any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club?
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar.
AC8XO, Vince, go ahead.
I'm back from the netherworld, or across the pond, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I sent out a newsletter blast to everybody to say, hey, it's time for newsletter articles on the internet. So now I'm saying again here, it's time for newsletter articles. Hard deadline is November 1, since the next meeting is a week later. Nat, nothing to say. John, thanks for the net. And this is AC8XO. Back to net.
Okay, thanks, Vince. You hear that, people? It's time to get your newsletter articles in. Hard deadline of November 1st. Okay, are there any other officers or members who have an announcement of general interest to the club? This is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor.
Evening, John, WB8YYS, Greg and Kent.
Go ahead, Greg, with your announcement.
Hey, evening, John, evening to everybody on the net. It was good to see everybody down at the Maps Museum for the Hamfest yesterday. It was a good one. Bought a few things from the club table there to give them a couple bucks. The only thing I've got this evening, John, I'd like to remind everybody that Saturday night, Sunday morning at 2 a.m., we set the clocks back 1 hour, so GMT will be +5. And this is a good time to check the batteries in your smoke detectors, and most importantly, in your CO detectors, detecting for carbon monoxide, since furnaces are going to start coming on, so we want to make sure everybody's safe. That's about all I got, John. Everybody stay dry and stay warm. I know it sounds like work, but give it your best shot. Look forward to seeing everybody at the meeting. It's WB8YYS.
Yeah, thanks for that information, Greg. Yeah, and I have this battery-powered clock that locks on to WWV. It's an atomic clock. And it shows both UTC time and local time. So this will be the first time change since I've had it, so we'll see if it changes itself. Okay, let's see. This is John, WO3X, at the mic for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net. Are there any other officers or members who have announcements of general interest to the club? Okay, not hearing any. I'll take check-ins. Give me your call and your name, and I'll take 5 at a time here. Let me acknowledge each one, though, one at a time. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
W8EZT. N8ACP, Chris in Akron.
November 8, November Hotel, Mark in Akron, in and out.
Whiskey 8, Echo Zulu Tango.
Okay, let's stand by. I got W8EZT, N8ACP, and I got N8NH, in and out. Any others? K8PU. I got K8PU, Larry. Any others? All that was heard was a beep. Any other check-ins? There was a pile up there. I think somebody started with N8. Go ahead.
N8BAY, November 8, Bravo Alpha Yankee, Ralph in Stowe.
I got you, Ralph in Stowe. Thanks. Who was the other one?
KD8YAX.
KD8YAX. I have you, Forrest. Are you in or in and out?
Well, I'm listening, but I'm in and out.
Okay, thanks, Forrest. Thanks for listening. Let's see how many. Okay. We have enough there, so let's go up to Frank, W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank, with your comments.
Well, good evening, John, everybody on the net. Appreciate the opportunity to get in here first. Don't have anything really much to add. I am turning out one newsletter article. Vince, I'll have it to you later this evening. I'm working on it now. Hope you'll be able to use it in the content I'm sending it. If not, email me or give me a call and we'll figure out what we can do to get something you can publish there. Other than that, I had a good time at the Hamfest Sunday. It was a very well done Hamfest. We had the club had a table set up with some equipment on there. We were selling some stuff for Steve. I had some tables set up, and the Hamfest was well attended. Though there were a lot of sellers, not as many buyers as I would have liked to have seen. Anthony observed that also. Anyway, that's really about all I've got. This is the last Hamfest in the area for the year, so time to get out your pens and pencils and make up your Christmas list and see what Santa brings you in terms of ham radio gear. Other than that, I'll be listening for you and try to catch you on the Band Exploration Net later tonight. Back to net, W8EZT.
Okay, very good, Frank. And that was a fine-looking piece of equipment that you got there, that analyzer there. So 300 kilohertz to 3 gigahertz, that's pretty good. So thanks for checking in, and I'll listen for you later on the Band Exploration Net on 17 meters. Okay, let's see. Next is Chris, N8ACP. Go ahead, Chris, with your comments.
Good evening there, John, and all on the net. Let's see, I did not go to the Hamfest because I was running the CQ Worldwide Single Sideband Contest. And I don't know who announced it last week. I think it was probably Anthony, I'm guessing. And I thank him for that because I had totally forgotten about it, and I had to defend my Call Area 8 first place finish last year in the rookie low power category. So, and I hope I did it. I don't know. It was a really slow start Friday night, and I didn't really operate much on Saturday, but then Saturday night and Sunday I gave it a good country try, and I worked about 18 hours total, which is less than ever before, and I increased my point value by 50,000 points. My score went up 50,000 points. So working less, better score, especially with an antenna that I just basically gunned up into a tree 2 days before. I guess I'm okay with it, so we'll see what happens. And we had a good time, of course. Picked up 2 new entities, the North Cook Islands on 10 meters. 10 meters are smoking, and African Italy, so 2 new entities that I hadn't worked before. That's all the news from me. W8VPB from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Chris, do you think that this new location you are in is better than your previous location?
It's negative. I lost about 95 feet of elevation at ground level.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, hopefully you can make up for that with a better antenna or something. Okay, great, and congratulations for participating in that and getting a lot of contacts. Time will tell if you defended your position there. Thanks. Okay, so next is K8PU, Larry. Go ahead, Larry, with your comments.
John, everybody on the net. Well, my comments is, looks like we're going to get some snow tomorrow night. Well, not too bad about that, though. We usually get it in October, and we didn't get any yet. So I guess we can live with that, but doesn't mean we got to like it. You're talking about Chris's location of their Cadillac Hill. Back in the 50s, we used to give our girlfriends a thrill driving up Cadillac Hill, and you haven't lived, you done it on a motorcycle. I don't even know. I don't think they're allowing you to do it anymore on that hill, but that reminded me of when he said he moved over there. Okay, John, catch you over on, what was it, 17 meters? 18125. Catch you over on that on expiration net on the at 9:30. Back to you. W8VPV, K8PU.
Okay, Larry. Yeah, it's 18.127. If nobody's on there. So thanks for checking in. And yeah, I get to look at. I got to see Cadillac Hill there for a while on the Thanksgiving Day when my position was over in that area, so yeah, I'm familiar with that. Okay, thanks for checking in, and hope to hear you on the band exploration net. Next is Ralph, N8BAY. Go ahead, Ralph, with your comments.
Good evening to everyone on the net tonight. Yesterday I took my first trip down to the Hamfest at MAPS. It was pretty interesting. I didn't stay very long, though. I had some family activities I needed to get back for, but I went for a little while anyway. This week I made some changes to my antenna, so if you're receiving this, then I guess I'm haven't done too much damage to it. So with that, this is N8BAY 73 off.
Okay, Ralph, very good. Yeah, you're getting into the repeater okay. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, next was Forrest, KD8YAX, and he's in and out, but he's listening. Okay, so that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is WO3X. Name here's John at the mic asking for check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net.
KE8ULA.
KE8ULA, I have you. Another one, please.
K8HMS.
K8HMS, I have you. Another one, please.
Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo KE8UIB John.
I have you, John. It was good seeing you at the Hamfest, and congratulations on that prize. Let's see, how many do we have here? Okay, another one, please.
Kilo Echo 8 Whiskey Golf Delta Mobile in and out.
KE8WGD, we have you. Thanks for checking in. 73, have a good evening. I have you as in and out. Another check-in, please.
KE8KVI, in and out.
KE8KVI, Ron, I have you, and I have it as out. Thanks for checking in. 73, have a good evening. Another check-in, please. Okay, we'll go with this here. So first was KE8ULA. Go ahead with your comments.
KE8ULA, this is Leo in Stowe. Yeah, thanks, John. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I don't have much going on today. I was a little bit late getting to the meeting last week, but I did catch the gist of it, talking about NFET antennas. I gotta admit most of it was over my head, but I do see the advantages of an NFET antenna, and I know some of the club members here are using them and getting very good results. So definitely something for me to consider. That's all I got today. Nothing really going on here. So back to the net, KE8ULA.
Okay, Leo, very good. Yeah, that was an interesting presentation there for sure. And we may be doing a project early next year where we will maybe make some of those. So keep tuned for that. Okay, 73, have a good evening. Okay, next is Steve, K8HMS. Go ahead, Steve, with your comments.
Yeah, WAVPV in the net, K8HMS. Hi, John. Yeah, I tried checking in on the 440 side, and I guess you couldn't hear me. So I'm on the 2-meter side now. So other than that, not much going on. Just wanted to give you one for the numbers. So thanks for running the net again. Back to net, K8HMS.
Yeah, very good, Steve. And at 9:30, we will be on 17 meters on or about 18.127 megahertz. So get your radio tuned up for that, and we should be able to hear you okay. Okay, so let's see. The next, so 73 there, Steve, if we don't hear you later. Okay, so next is KE8UIB, John in Maslin. Go ahead, John, with your comments.
WHCPV from KE8UIB. Good evening, John. Everybody out there on the net, and everybody yesterday at Hamfest. That was a really great time, and definitely will be one of the most memorable ones for me for sure. Walking away with that grand prize, that A2S T891. That was a sweet prize. I got in last night. I was so excited. I hooked it to a power supply. I had a 10-meter mag mount, and got it on there. SWR was good. Got out, made 12 contacts really quick. It's a big step up from my Zygu T90
can't wait to get an auto tuner so I can get it hooked to my inside and get out on some other bands for sure. So the definite blessing. But I just wanted to chime in tonight, say hello to everybody, give you one quick number. This is K8 UIB. I'm going to hand this back to Net Control 73, y'all.
Okay, John, very good. Yeah, there you go. You made contacts with it already. So 73, have a good evening and have fun with your 891 there. Okay, let's see. KE8WGD was in and out, and Ron KE8KVI was in and out. So that takes us to the bottom of the list. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-ins.
K8WTK.
KA8WTK. We'll go one at a time here. Go ahead, Bill, with your comments.
Good evening, John, and everybody on the net. KA8WTK, Bill and Talmadge. Not much going on tonight, other than it's cooling off. Did some more winterizing today. Went out and made sure all the garden hoses were brought in. May still need them this year for washing up things, but I had to get them in for the night, the next couple nights, because it's going to get cold enough. Don't want any of them to get broken. But other than that, not much going on. So I'll take it back to Net Control. W8VPV, KA8WTK. Good evening, John.
Yeah, very good, Bill. That's a good idea there. Drain out and bring in your garden hoses. Okay, so thanks for checking in, and maybe we'll hear you on 17 meters here later. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. You were able to break the squelch on the repeater, but we couldn't hear any audio. Over. No, sorry, I can't pull out your the voice there. We can tell somebody's there, but there's just too much noise. If you could somehow increase your elevation or your power, if you can, we'll give you. Give it another shot here right now. Go ahead. Okay, not hearing anything there. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any at this time. I'll repeat the announcements. Okay, November 8th is Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club. It will be probably an activity meeting, and the program is to be announced. And then on November 22nd is our business meeting. But that will also have a program. Now, both of those meetings will also be on Zoom, but in person they will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard. Get to the parking lot on 2nd Street, which is south of, the parking lot is south of Broad Boulevard on 2nd Street. On November 13th is a volunteer exam session. The testing starts at 6:30 p.m. At the Cuyahoga Falls Library. You can get to that from either 2nd Street or 3rd Street, south of Portage Trail. And make sure that you have your FRN and also pre-register for it. It's a law exam, so there's no test fee, but there will be, in accordance with what you're getting tested for, there'll be an FCC fee that you take care of later. On Thanksgiving Day in the morning is the Genesaret Home Run for the Homeless. I'm not sure who all has been contacted for that, but there are generally maybe half a dozen or more volunteer amateur radio operators to monitor the activity of that run, and it's in that Glendale Cemetery and out on Exchange Street and some other streets around there. So you may be contacted by Artie, N8RKA, to volunteer for that. And the technician license classes are still going on. There may only be 2 left, so if you missed 1 or 2 of them, I suggest to continue with them. And you can get the schedule by going to www.cfarc.org and look at the Education tab. Okay, that's all that I have in the way of announcements. So this is John, WO3X, at the mic, asking for check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor VHF UHF net. Last call for check-ins.
Kilo Echo 8 Tango Quebec Romeo KE8TQR Keith in Uniontown.
Keith in Uniontown, go ahead with your comments.
W8VPV, this is KE8TQR. Good evening, John. Thanks for taking my check-in. Sorry I'm a little late tonight. I was over on another net, and I was not all that early in the queue, but I did make it, and here I am. I didn't do much today due to the weather. Did a little radio this morning, messed around on the computer, tried not to bother the wife too much. She'll throw me out of the house if I do that. And just wanted to say that yesterday at the Ham Fest, it was good seeing everybody. I saw Frank and Anthony and talked to them for a few minutes. Saw a lot of my other friends, made a few friends, so there is that. I went looking for 2 things. I didn't find either one of them, so I did not get them. And the only thing I did pick up was one of those rugged laptops that Sully was selling down at the one end. And I brought that home chiefly for the wife, and she was happy to receive it. But other than that, that's about all the traffic I have. And everyone, I hope you all had a great day today. Try to stay dry for the rest of the week. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll try to get in here earlier next week. With that, I'll send it back to you, John, at Net Control. Fine job running the net tonight. And this is KE8TQR 73, everyone.
Okay, Keith, very good. 73, and we have the Band Exploration net that starts at 9:30 on 17 meters on or about 18.127 megahertz upper sideband. So if you have the, let's see, if you have the privileges, come on there and check in. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. RKA. N8 RKA, go ahead, Artie.
John, for that, I'll let you know how many that I have and how many that I need for that. So I'll just email it to you here within the next couple days. And I just want to wait a couple more days to see if I hear from any of the other ones that I've emailed. Then I'll let you know.
Okay, Artie, very good. Thanks for taking care of that, setting that up and all that. So I'll watch for that message from you. And thanks for checking in this evening, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-ins. Okay, not hearing any. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been John, and my call is WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net with 17 check-ins counting myself and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:06 p.m. local time. 73.
WO3X, N8 RKA.
N8 RKA, go ahead, Artie.
With the email I'll send you, I'll put a couple names in there for you to ask, because I haven't heard from them yet. And if they tell you yes or no, just let me know what they say, so then I'll have an idea how many more people I got to look for, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'll see what I can do there to make contact with them. So thanks for taking care of that, and hopefully we get enough people.
No problem. I just usually on a couple Mondays a month I got meetings I got to go to, so I was just on my way home from one of my meetings, so, and I just looked at the time and seen it was like around 9 o'clock or so, so I just turned it on, and hey, I might be last, but I know I'm not fast.
Yeah, well, fast is not always good. I was on my walk today, and I don't know if the people were going fast or what, but there was a crash at on State Road at Chestnut Boulevard, and then I was heading toward home on 20th Street, and I crossed. I was crossing Falls Avenue, and I looked to the left, and here there was a crash at Falls Avenue and 21st Street. So being fast isn't always too good. So thanks for checking in, Artie, and for for handling that Genesaret home run for the homeless. So with that, this is WO3X, and I'll be clear.
All right, John. Like I said, I'll let you know, and thanks for the chat. And we'll say 7-3s, and we'll chat. I'll let you know here later on during the week, or towards the end of the week or so. WO3X, NERKA 7-3.
7-3. This is WO3X. I'm clear.
W8VPV. Repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night band exploration net. My name is John, and my call is WO3X, that's Whiskey Oscar 3 X-ray. However, for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and to keep members up to date about club happenings. This band exploration net meets every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by the VHF-UHF net at 8:30 and Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. The frequency of this net changes every week, so go to the calendar to see the frequency. This is the 5th Monday, that's why we're on a different band. Okay, so next week it will be on 6 meters at 9:30 p.m. on Monday. 6 meters on or about 50.270 megahertz, upper sideband. Okay, so when checking in, please give your call repeated phonetically, followed by your name and your location. Also, let me know if you have any comments or traffic for the net, or if you're checking in and out. I will start with announcements and then call for check-ins from officer or members who have special items. When all have checked in, I will repeat the announcements. After that, I'll give one last call for check-ins and then close the net. Okay, here are the announcements. The next meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be on Wednesday of next week. That's November 8th at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard. Get to the parking lot and the entrance on 2nd Street south of Broad Boulevard. There may be a program for that, as we may be having our business meeting on the 22nd rather than the 2nd Wednesday. We may have our business on the 4th Wednesday, and there may be a program at both of those meetings. Both of those will be on Zoom. So go to www.cfarc, go to the calendar on the right side of the page, and scroll down, and there will be the Zoom link for the meeting. Okay, then Monday, November 13th, there's a volunteer exam session. The test starts at 6:30 p.m. at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. You can get to that library from 2nd or 3rd Street south of Portage Trail. So it's between Portage Trail and Broad Boulevard on 2nd Street or 3rd Street entrance. Make sure that you have your FRN. It will be a LARO exam, so there's no fee other than the FCC fee, which you take care of later. Let's see here. So then on Thanksgiving Day morning, is the Geneseret Home Run for the Homeless. So we need volunteers to operate radios on usually on the 2 meter band in order to watch for any problems that runners are having. N8RKA is the main contact for that. That's already N8RKA, and so he may have me try to contact people that I may know that he doesn't have the contact information for. So be aware of that in the next week or so. Okay, so let's see. Well, December 26th or December 6th. December 6th is the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Christmas dinner, and it will be at the New Era Cafe. So there will be a sign up for that, so watch for that to come in the, it will be on the email. Okay, with that I have no further announcements. Are there
haven't heard a crap out like that since my AM days. KA8WTK. Pretty good. I'll just stand by here and see if John pulls it out of the woodwork or not. We'll see what happens. KA8WTK.
modulation? Huh, it must have been the microphone. Huh, that's funny. My headset. So, okay, what was the last thing that was heard?
I think you were pretty much done with the spiel. I guess run through the announcements. Roy, you were in the middle of the announcements, so I guess wrap those up and we'll go for check-ins.
Okay, November 8th is the meeting, and also November 22nd, and there will be a program possibly at both of them. November 13th is a volunteer exam session. It will be on at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. It's at the test starts at 6:30 p.m., so make sure you have your FRN and get there early enough to sign in so that the test, since the test starts at 6:30, and you can get to that library from 2nd or 3rd Street between Portage Trail and Broad Boulevard. Let's see, the meetings are at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard, and also on Zoom. both of those meetings will be on Zoom. Then December 6th is our Christmas dinner. There will be no meeting or Zoom, and there'll be a presentation about broadcast radio. Let's see, so with that, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic. Are there any members or officers who have items of special interest? Come now. Okay, not hearing any. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. K8HMS. We'll take you on this one. We'll go one at a time. K8HMS. Go ahead, Steve. Okay, Steve, yeah, I have a good copy on you. You're almost 10 over 9 here. So thanks for checking in, 73. Have a good evening, and maybe we'll see you at one of the meetings. Okay, next, who wants to check in next? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
November 8th, Alpha Charlie Papa, Norway 8th, America Charlie Papa, Chris in Akron.
N8ACP, go ahead, Chris, with your comment.
Yeah, good evening there, John, all on the net. Frank, Frank's a little light here signal-wise. You're strong now that we can hear you. 5'8", 5'9", no problem now. So, trying to think, really, nothing else has changed since the 2-meter net, except to say that I was looking through the log here for this weekend's contest, and I worked 145 countries in less than 24 hours. DXCC in one day, pretty cool. So hopefully, I don't know if Anthony worked the contest or if he's listening. I know he won the world in QRP last year, so I'll be interested to see if he was able to do that. I know his tower came down. So if he did, I wish him the best of luck. Back to that control, the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor from November 8, Alpha Charlie Papa.
Okay, Chris, very good. Yeah, I have a really good copy on you here, so thanks for checking in, and yeah, that's pretty good, 145 countries in 24 hours. Okay, great. So have a good evening, and we'll hear you some other time there. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic, asking for check-in.
K8WTK.
K8WTK. Go ahead, Bill, with your comment.
Well, really nothing new since 2 meters. Just giving the Kenwood a workout tonight, and still haven't got back to the heat kit yet. There's a hum of some kind coming from the receiver into the transmitter, which is why I didn't use it the other night. So we'll have to, when I have time, I'll get in there and get something there. Been raking too many leaves lately. Rain gave me a chance to get some other things done today, but we'll probably be raking leaves now until the 1st of December. Just the way it goes. You got a lot of trees on your neighbor's property. That's about it. W8GTV, K8WTK.
Yeah, very good, Bill. Well, I gather up the leaves and put them in bags, and then my friend from work, before we retired, he started this deal where he gives us bags several of us at work there, and then we fill them up with leaves, and he goes around and takes the bags of leaves and puts them on his huge garden there. So we've been doing that. I bet you it's been 10 years now we've been doing that. So it's actually pretty convenient because I don't have to try to get them out to the curb there for the city to pick them up. I just rake them when they're nice and dry and when it's convenient for me, and so it all works out pretty good. So thanks for checking in there, Bill. 73. Have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in.
All right, I'll jump in here, John. Appreciate doing the net and everything. As far as the annual leaf harvest, I've got my equipment operating and ready to go, but nothing worse than working with wet leaves. It multiplies the effort by probably fivefold because of the weight. So I'll wait a couple of days here, let some more settle down. Maybe the wind will hand some off to my neighbors. And after I've had a couple of days of dry weather, and I think that'll happen later in the week, we'll get the leaf machine up and running and start putting them out on the curb. In addition to dumping several quantities into the backyard, the wooded area for the deer to bed down in, I usually line my entire curb with leaves. So we'll see if I can't get that done again this year. Other than that, not a whole lot to report. It's kind of a quiet evening. I'm going to go heat up something for dinner. Got to go rummage through the fridge and see what I've got. Had a great time at the Ham Fest. Of course, good to see you and a bunch of other hams there. And I have not even had a chance to test out the spectrum analyzer yet. I've got it, brought it in today, and it's warming up and drying out. Probably when I get some food in me off the net tonight, I'll power it up and see what happens. The two sweep generators I got both work. One of them has noisy controls, but I suspect a little bit of contact cleaner will help resolve that. And I got some other little things to play with, including a decent set of Nikon binoculars at the Ham Fest. So worked out well. The club did well, and didn't sell as much as we wanted to, but I can't complain. It was a good time, and saw many friends and acquaintances there. All right, that's all I've got. I can hear you in there real well, Bill. I can hear you, Chris. You were coming through loud and clear. I've got a vertical antenna, so that's maybe why I was down in the noise. And other than that, we'll hand it back to you and see if there's anybody else out there. W8ECT back to that.
Yeah, very good, Frank. Well, I have you 15/9 here. I'm using the Gap Titan DX for this band here. So maybe you are too, I don't know. But yeah, what antenna are you using?
Right now I'm on my tuned vertical. According to the SWR meter, I'm putting about 50 watts into it. Let me flip a switch here and switch over to the Gap Titan and see what happens. Stand by. All right, I'm now on the Gap Titan again, 50 watts. SWR is up to about 1.4 watts, but how do I sound here on the Gap Titan?
Well, you're 20/9 on the Gap Titan, but you know it's the same antennas and not very far apart. But so it's 5 dB higher.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, the SWR jumped from almost totally 1.0 on the tuned antenna, the tuned vertical, to 1.4 or so on the Gap. But the signal sounds better. I guess ultimately that's what counts. I appreciate the info. We'll hand it back to you. That's W8ECT.
Okay, Frank, very good. So I'll clear with you, W8EZT. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-in. K8PU, good evening, Larry. What's going on over there?
Well, it's about 85 sunny, you know, so it's I guess reality is winter's coming. Oh, nothing really, John. I just get a bunch of numbers here. Everybody sounds good. You everybody's doing. So far, sounds super. Steve down the valley, everybody's doing real good. Aside from that, it's supposed to get everybody to get together, and that's next week. So back to you, WGTV, KATU.
Yeah, Larry, I saved a seat for you at the last meeting, but then I let it go when I saw that you were on Zoom there, so that's how that went. It all worked out okay. So thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in.
Alpha 8, X-ray November, Greg in West Akron.
And November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa recheck.
Go ahead, Chris, with your recheck.
Okay, thanks, and then I'll let you get to the other gentleman. I just wanted to give Frank a signal report on the Titan. You went up, and your audio got better. Solid S7 here, solid S7 on Cadillac Hill. W8VPV from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you heard that, Frank, but Chris has you a better signal on the Gap Titan there, so that's okay. Very good. Thanks for that information, Chris. Okay, was there somebody checking in there? This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Was there an Alpha Alpha station in there? Come on back. Over.
Yeah, this is Alpha 8 X-ray November, Greg in West Akron.
I can tell somebody's in there, but I can't copy. Can you do a relay, Frank?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, thanks, Frank. Okay, if you can hear me, Greg, we have you on the log there. AA8XN. Greg, we have you on the log. Okay, so this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so let's see. That was William G. Lester there, 90 Devon Lane, Akron, Ohio. Okay, thanks. Okay, I guess the G is Greg. So thanks, Greg, for checking in. We have you on the log. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic asking for check-in. Go ahead, Frank. Yeah, I wasn't watching the scope the whole time. So, okay, yeah, so I missed that. Very good.
Thanks for that. Okay, so let's see. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Okay, I'll repeat the announcements and then I'll give one last call for check-in. Okay, the next meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will be November 8th, and it will be at 7:30 in person at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ, 130 Broad Boulevard. Get to the parking lot on 2nd Street south of Broad Boulevard. And there will probably be an activity which is to be announced. Then 2 weeks later, on the 4th Wednesday, on November 22nd, is it will be our business meeting, and that too will be at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in person and on Zoom. To get the link for Zoom, go to www.cfarc.org. Go to the right side of the page, and you'll see a calendar there, and the links will be in that calendar. Okay, then on Monday, December 13th, is a volunteer exam session. That's Monday evening. Test starts at 6:30 p.m., and that's at the Cuyahoga Falls Library. It's a law oral exam, so there's no fee for the test. Make sure that you have your FRN and get there early enough so that you can be there when the test starts at 6:30. And that is at the Cuyahoga Falls Library, which is between 2nd and 3rd Streets in Cuyahoga Falls, and between Broad Boulevard and Portage Trail. So you can get to that from either 2nd Street or 3rd Street. Okay, let's see here. November 23rd, that's Thanksgiving Day. In the morning, there's a Geneseret Home Run for the Homeless, and some of you may be contacted by Artie, N8RKA, and if not, then he may have me try to contact you if he can't get in touch with you. So we'll see how that goes. And the run is done by 11 o'clock, so you'd be home by noon, even if you stop at Krispy Kreme there for some donuts. So yeah, you'll be there in plenty of time for the game. Let's see here, and the technician license class is still going on. It's on Sundays. Go to www.cfarc.org, click on the Education tab, and you can see the class there. It's just about wrapping up. I think there's only 2 more sessions, so but maybe you can get something out of it to enable you to pass the test. So let's see. Okay, December 6th is our Christmas dinner, and there will be a presentation about broadcast radio. So I saw that earlier this year, and it was very good, very interesting, and all the aspects of that. And that Christmas dinner will be at the New Era restaurant, so watch for a sign up so that we know how many people will attend, so that they can get enough waiters and waitresses for for that event for us. Okay, let's see, that's all that I have in a way of announcements. So this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor with John WO3X at the mic. Last call for check-in. Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-in. Okay, not hearing any, so in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. As mentioned earlier, this band exploration net meets every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Next week, the frequency will be 50.270 megahertz upper sideband. Please feel free to check in regularly, even if only for a moment. All comments are welcomed and valuable to us. This has been John, and my call is WO3X, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net and return the frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 10:01 p.m. local time with 7 check-ins counting myself. 7-3. The same one, the IC 7600. I'm surprised that I wasn't able to hear AA8VN or AA8XN. Oh, okay, let's see. The scope. Well, it's hard to tell, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how I'd even correct that. I'd have to have a proper generator and a proper procedure. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something. Okay, this isn't a real, I don't think I'd be able to see it on the phone. Send it to my email, wo3x@hotmail.com. Okay, thanks. And yeah, I'll be checking this headset, see why the microphone quit. Maybe it's just got unplugged. Okay, 7-3, have a good evening there, Frank. This is WO3X, I'll be clear.
Much colder, maybe 24, 26, but not too bad.
Yeah, it's supposed to drop down tonight about 35.
Okay, Joe, I don't have a great copy on you, but I heard everything you said. I guess it's a KC5, a JAV. I'm not sure about the C, but I heard K5 JAV at least. Nice to make your acquaintance. My name is Mal. I'm in Hollywood, Florida. That's M-A-L. It's short for Malcolm, which I don't like, but I like being called Mal. My call it is our 2x1, November, Charlie, for love. Norway, Canada, for love. Or no charge for